I would like to call this a high-level game, but it's not, simply because this is my first time running this Kate deck. Well, I'm up against Astrobiotics, and my deck is designed to deal with Astrobiotics pretty well while still maintaining playability against some of the more popular glacial archetypes, RP, HB, etc. Alright, so what's up here? This is basically your typical Prepaid Kate deck, but with the Stealth Breakers instead, and lots of cloaks. So we'll see how this works. I'm a big fan of the Stealth Breakers because they allow you to quickly assemble your rig and siege the core whilst maintaining good efficiency against the more taxing ice. And we'll see how that comes into play. But first, I suspect that he's trying to rush out Astro Script against the Kate, so I checked the remote and it turns out it's just a pop-up window into mark 2 counts, so that was a waste of time for me. I was expecting it to be a quandary on an Astro Script, in which case I can throw out my Refractor or York and ninja his agenda. Yeah, it wouldn't be very wise for him to make such a play. Alright, I play a quality time, and I have lots of programs to install, so I mass install them all. This is a very scary thing. If you are the corp and suddenly you see 3 programs installed by the runner, you have got to be pretty fearful for your life. Granted, all I have is a code game breaker, but with 2 stealth credits, I think I am revealing the kind of rig that I'm setting up for, which is not very good, but well, so be it. I need to use the mass install. It is a huge. It offers a lot of click efficiency, and I start opening all his ice. I want to check out which are code gates and appropriately demolish them with York. Now, the reason for me installing York over Refractor is simple. I expect that he's not running any code gates higher than strength 3, aside from Toll Booth. So, yeah, I want to get past these quandaries and pop-up windows for as cheap as possible, and York allows me to do exactly that. He is filthy rich right now to the point where it doesn't matter how many times I run the pop-up windows. So, I'm just going to keep getting through the pop-up windows whenever I can. I luckily draw into a scavenge, so that allows me to bring out one breaker of my choice. I choose the Fem over the Refractor because I am worried about sentries. These kind of near hub decks like to run Grims and Roto Turrets, so I'm definitely pretty paranoid about that. Hence, the need for Fem. And Fem allows me to get past Eli cheaper than Black Cat does, so I decided on Fem. We'll see if that's a good choice later down the road. Finally, I run his remote. I know that's a Sensen because I spot checked it on top of R&D. It's going into the trash. So far, my game is not very good, even though I've accessed a couple of cards. None of them were agendas that I was seeking, and he's got his first Astro Script out. That does not work well for me. I can only hope to continue placing pressure both on HQ and R&D. First, I checked his HQ using the 2 cloak credits, so I'm basically running for free at this point, but I don't see any agendas. I would love to use a legwork at this point, but I don't have any in hand. I have 2 in deck, I haven't seen either yet, which, well, I wouldn't say it's unfortunate, it could happen. I try once more, and I do find a breaking news. I find that a lot of people tend to be afraid of running HQ because there's a good chance that Near Hub might be dumping agendas into archives with Jackson to protect. There's a good chance that you won't get the agenda that you want because it's a random access, but hitting HQ is almost always the right decision, especially if they are drawing up a lot of cards with Near Hub's ability. So this is why legwork is very important. Alright, I try to spot check both HQ and R&D and come up short. Once again, wraparound is causing huge trouble because I don't have a Refractor. So it looks like it's time to get the Refractor out, and thank goodness I have another Test Run Scavenge combo in hand, ready to go. But first I draw into an R&D interface, so that's getting on the board immediately. I have the Modded long in hand ever since the game started. I really love Modded. Modded is fantastic and is so good against Near Hub. Shaper is typically slower than Criminal, doesn't apply as much pressure, and this can be their downfall against Near Hub. But with Modded, you can get your breakers out much quicker, and you have more incentive to play R&D interface, which is a huge card against NBN Near Hub. It allows you to R&D lock them more effectively. Yeah, I definitely would rather play R&D interface over Maker's Eye, because as long as they give me access to R&D every turn, they are not going to find any agendas unless they play a fast track. He continues installing more remotes. It doesn't seem like any of them are agendas, so I ignore them for now. I can't afford to waste any more clicks running remotes futilely. Alright, it's time to get the Black Cat out. Right now I'm deliberating which program I should trash because I don't have enough memory. I decide to trash the Cloak. Yep, that's the problem. I trashed an Akamatsu mem chip earlier and now it's coming back to haunt me. Alright, I get through R&D. Now it only costs 1 credit to break through R&D. It's dirt cheap for me. It doesn't even have to be a stealth credit, by the way. And very importantly, I fish out an Astroscript. Huge play. Alright. It should be noted here that the reason I'm keeping a Refractor in hand is simple. The Refractor is my only solution against Toe Booths, and I know that NBN always will run Toe Booth. It's such a good piece of ice. If I trash the Refractor, I have no means of getting it back besides Levi AR Lab access. So I don't run clone chips in this deck. The only way to get it back is Levi, and that's a very long way. I don't wish to do that. The other option is to draw my only Dinosaurus in the deck and scavenge the Yacht, which I can't do either because I ran out of scavengers as well. Alright, so back to the game. He just fished out an Astroscript, his last one, with fast track, and I suspect it's in his hand. He wouldn't install it in that remote with only 1 ice on it. Surely he wouldn't do that. That's too vulnerable. So I decided to lock his R&D, which is easy because I R&D interface out, and then sweep his hand with legwork. Exactly the card I needed to see, legwork. So now his Astroscript will be blasted off his hand. If I get lucky with the access, of course. What do I see? It's Roto Turret, NAPD, which I can't steal, and a Biotic. That's unfortunate. I didn't manage to fish out the Astroscript. But at least I'm continuing to lock down his R&D. But now he will score the Astroscript, which was in the server all along. Huge mistake for not running it. That's terrible. Very unfortunate. I guess the only way he felt secure that I wasn't going to break through the remote is if his remote was protected by a Lotus Field or a Toe Booth. Either way, I would have been able to get through. I just needed to install the Refractor. So that was a huge pity. Really huge pity, because I should have stolen the Astroscript. That would have made his game that much harder. But now he has Sand on the table, and he has 2 Astro tokens. I'm pretty screwed at this point. I know he has a Baltic Label in hand, so yeah, I think it's game over for me if I don't find 2 more agendas. So now I'm just banking on the bills right now. I run R&D, mark the counts, and NAPD. Well, I have 4 credits exactly, steal it. Right now I need all the agenda points I can grasp. So has he won the game yet? Apparently not. Thankfully. Every time he passes the turn over to me, that's 1 more chance for me to top deck an agenda off his R&D. He installs and advances an agenda twice. That's weird. And he protects the server. So I've all the reason to think that it's an NAPD. There's no way I'm going to be able to steal it with my lack of credits. And yeah, he's just going to win next turn, because he will score the NAPD and then score another agenda off the back of it, because he has so many fast advance mechanisms. So yeah, I know he had an NAPD in hand, and that's what he's trying to score. So now the only way I can stop him is either to fetch an R&D from his hand, or from fetch an agenda from his hand, or R&D. R&D is the best bet right now, because to effectively search his hand, I need to use legwork. It costs way too many credits to get past the Eli at this point. Yeah. So I index R&D, putting the bill on top, and then I run R&D again to fetch the bill, and of course he would use the Jackson to shuffle his R&D, but he didn't, because he didn't realize that he could use Jackson to prevent an indexing win like that. It was his first time seeing that, so you can ignore the video. But ultimately, we played it out. He shuffled cards back to R&D. I did not draw the view from R&D, and I proceeded to archives, thinking that he did not shuffle anything back with Jackson. And yeah, I didn't manage to find any agendas, and he won the game. He would have won the game either way, because he made a mistake in the previous turn. He should have won the game by overscoring that view. With a Biotic Label in hand, he would be able to place 3 advancement counters on the view, plus 2 more from the 2 Astro Scripts. That's 5 tokens, he would win the game. But he didn't see that play, which was pretty interesting. A couple of big missteps from him, but it didn't matter in the end because he would have won the game ultimately. My deck was still too slow. So what were the problems this game? I wouldn't say my deck is slow. In fact, I think it is really relatively fast for a Shaper deck. The programs are cheap to install, and most importantly, I'm gaining clickless economy from Cloak, which allowed me to run his servers turn after turn, even though I was so low on credits. Against such a fast NBN, you cannot afford to spend clicks drawing for cards. If you're not using diesel or quality time, you're wasting time. So Cloak allows me to make a run every turn to lock down R&D to periodically sweep HQ without having to worry too much about my economy. Then the problem lay with not drawing my prepaid voice pads early on. I had no prepaid voice pads. I looked through my R&D, my stack after the game, and gosh, they were all floating around in the bottom half of my deck. Even just 1 prepaid voice pad would have gone a long way. I played so many lucky finds, legwork, test runs this game. It would have paid itself off and given me enough credits to steal the NAPD when I accessed it from his HQ. So yeah, not being able to pay for the NAPD in his HQ was what lost me the game. And it was sad that it ended up that way, because this deck is supposed to make money, combining the powers of Dirty Laundry, Lucky Fight, and Show Gamble. Event-based economy is very powerful, but it didn't have the support that was prepaid voice pad. And because I didn't see any prepaid voice pads, I wasn't able to use Kate's ability to the fullest either. That's the whole point of playing Kate, prepaid voice pad. So it's a combination of unlucky draws from me and sharp play by him to quickly fetch out the last Astro Script to seal him the deal. Still, I believe my deck has massive potential, and I'm going to continue working on it. Thanks for watching, and happy net running. See you around.